Welcome to the show, one and all. This is the patriotic, opinionated American constitutionalist, where we discuss topics that are going on in the world today, whether they be political, life matters, business, whatever the case may be. Don't forget to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share the channel, comment on the channel, keep an open dialogue so that way we can get some of this debating going so we can have an open line of discussion. I'm not going to say no holds barred. Keep it kind of candor. Don't be an ass. If you want to have something to say, go ahead and say it in the comments, and we can discuss it. Click on the notification bell so that way anytime I upload new videos, you will be the first person to get a notification and you can watch the new videos that I upload. So today we are going to be talking about the crisis at the border. It's a sensitive subject because it affects so many different people, and so many different people also have different views on it. And you're entitled to your opinions. You're entitled to your thoughts and your views on how you see things. And what this show is based on is going to be my opinions on how I see things. It's just how I feel, looking at it, doing the research and everything else. So, with that being said, the crisis at the border is all these migrants that are coming from South Mexico, into the United States. With the Trump administration, we had something that was in place that we signed back in 2018, I think it was 2019. I'd have to check, but anyway. So what the executive order was basically, if you're coming into this country, you're going to stay in Mexico until we can vet you and make sure you are who you say you are, make sure you're safe to enter the country, and you're not coming into the country to do any type of harm to anybody. You're staying in Mexico until then. Well, with the current administration, what we are having is what is known as the catch and release program. And what that breaks down to is you're coming into the country, you're given a ticket with a court date, and then you can go into the United States until your court date it's up. And to me, that doesn't sound safe for American citizens. We don't know who you are. I'm not saying you're bad people or anything, but we just don't know. I mean, as a society today, we live where I live at. It's a nice neighborhood. We still lock our doors. It's safety. We don't want somebody coming into our house that we don't know, that we don't trust, that we don't know their background or anything. So we lock our doors. We need the same kind of protection on the border. I mean, South Mexico has a wall. There's immigration stations in or border crossings in Canada, in Mexico, in all these other countries, and it's safe. It's supposed to keep, the riffraff or whatever you want to call it out. I mean, if we apply the same rules that we have in other countries, why is it bad? I mean, you go into Canada, you go show your passport. Well, I'm going to live there. Well, no, there's certain policies and procedures you need to follow before you can just move into Canada. You want to move overseas to the Middle East, or Antarctica, any country. There's rules and regulations that are put in place for certain reasons. So why should the United States be any different? Yes, we were founded on immigration. We had all these people from all these countries coming to the United States, and they went through it the legal way. There was a process back then. You came into the country, and I'm sure there were still people that came here illegally. But the simple fact is, that was then. This is now. We have a lot more people in the world nowadays. You have more people wanting to come to the United States to be able to have a better life, which is understandable. If you want to come into this country, do it the legal way, go through the legal system. And that brings up my next point: is the system broken? I mean, we have two parties that can't get along for anything. You know, it's this, it's like sibling rivalry. You have the older brother, the younger brother, younger sister, your older sister, older brother, youngest, you know, however you want to put it. But they're constantly bashing each other's heads over what they feel is right for the American people. And you're going to have both parties that are going to twist the system so that way they can obtain your vote. They're going to do whatever they can to cinch that vote from you. They're going to tell you what they want you to hear. They're going to fill you a full line of bullshit just to get your vote. You know, and that's what happened with this past election. I mean, you had these politicians going out there promising everything under the sun, free education, free healthcare, free this, free that, and people just ate it up. And now, was there some election fraud? In my opinion, some of the videos and some of the testimonies I read and saw, it did show that there was possible, you know, interference in the election. There was fraud that was created, and you know, nobody's even talking about that anymore. It's like, oh well, okay, it's over, it's done with, it's all swept under the rug. But I digress. Anyway, getting back into the topic, we have AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Amazing how she came up from being a bartender and now she's a congresswoman. So, I mean, that should open up many people's eyes to realize that you can come from, you know, the ground up and have an amazing life, have a great career in the United States. You know, go try and do some of the stuff that these people are doing in other countries and watch how far they get away with it. I mean, but anyway, AOC, she, God bless her heart, she tries so hard to speak, and it comes out so jumbled. And hey, granted, we all get that way. You know, we try to talk, we try and get our point across, we get our words jumbled up. It's frustrating, and people can make fun of us for it and mock us. Oh, look what they did there. But she just comes out, when you start hearing her, it's like, you know, your head just wants to explode because it's just rambling on and on and on, and most of it kind of makes sense depending on how you're looking at it. But once again, this is all people's opinions on how they feel and how they see it. So let's go ahead and roll that first clip on AOC and see what she's talking about.
Are you for real? So let's talk about this, because so much of our national conversation, which is not a conversation about immigration, is driven by people who could not care less.
Wow, okay. So saying that this is being done by people that could care less about you, I'm sorry, AOC, but who's the one that is actually being shown proof that there's so-called kids in cages? Now, they're not in cages like you would assume, but I mean, these facilities where they're housing these people are just, it's brutal. I mean, seeing these people wrapped up in these aluminum foil blankets, you know, looking like 40, 50 people in one very small enclosed area. We have the pandemic that's going on. I mean, how safe is this actually being? I mean, if you really cared about these people, what are y'all doing? I mean, y'all are keeping them locked up and everything else. Y'all are not providing them with the right necessities of having space and everything else. And then on top of that, you have creepy Joe Biden that's proposing $600 million, I think, for the next 6 months to be able to house these immigrants in better conditions than what they're doing for our veterans right now that are on the homeless, or even our homeless people that, you know, weren't in the military, but homeless people that are struggling on the streets and everything else. Why isn't it going to help these people out, your own American citizens? Why are you doing this to help out people that aren't even legalized U.S. citizens yet? And like I said, I mean, the system is broken. Why can't people just get together and come up with some kind of compromise to get this thing worked out, to take care of these people? But I digress once again. So let's go ahead and take another look at another clip from AOC.
They want to say, what about the surge? Well, first of all, just gut check, stop. Anyone who's using the term surge around you consciously is trying to invoke a militaristic frame. And that's a problem.
This new surge we're dealing with now started with the last administration, but it's our responsibility to deal with it humanely and to stop.
So, AOC, Biden's calling it a surge. So is he falling, in that same concept of what you think about people? Anyway, and yeah, with Joe Biden, with his this surge started with the last administration. Maybe towards the beginning, there was still surges going on. The caravan, if you remember the caravan that was coming through, but it got taken care of. Like I said, Trump pushed some executive orders. Still no, I mean, and if anybody's out there that has visual proof, videos of these kids in cages that was during the Trump administration, I'd still love to see it. I mean, I've yet to see any evidence out there of it. But that's what the Democrats keep going back to, is Trump's kids in cages, Trump's kids in cages. Look, I mean, I believe in equality of life. I believe that everybody should, live comfortably. But in order to live comfortably, you have to be willing to put in the work. And I think that's what a lot of the generation nowadays has lost sight of. I mean, it's an entitlement syndrome is the way I look at it. They believe that everything is owed to them. They shouldn't have to work for something. Things in life should just be given to them. And I'm sorry, but that's not how I was raised. I was raised that if you want to get anywhere in life, that you have to put in effort. You have to put in work. You can't just expect people to give things to you. That's why I don't understand all of the disparities of everything that people keep talking about. You have people like LeBron James or Colin Kaepernick, who talks about being oppressed, and maybe it's just my white privilege talking, whatever you want to call it. There's different privileges, and it doesn't have to ascertain to color. I mean, you can look at different things in life and realize that things are obtainable. Stop using the victim card. Stop using the oppression card. Stop using the race card. We as a society need to start learning to put all these differences aside. I was watching this rapper not long ago, and phenomenal guy, Tom MacDonald, talks about the division that we have in the United States. And people need to wake up and realize that this narrative is being put out by the media, by these politicians, by all these different organizations, and it's almost like it's a game to them. They want to see people turn on you. It's like they don't care about your interest. They blow smoke up your ass and tell you it's raining, unicorns and rainbows, and it's not. or they try and do the red herring where, hey, this is going on, but we're going to start, talking about this, that we forget about that. For example, look at the Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo in New York. I mean, it started off with he got an Emmy or whatever award he got for his role with the pandemic and everything. I mean, they were glorifying him left and right. And then all of a sudden, allegations came out of the numbers were skewed for the pandemic. Oh, well, it wasn't, 4 to 6,000 deaths. It was more like 11 to 15,000 deaths because it wasn't a calculating area. It was just they skewed the numbers because it was during election time. So, kind of getting off topic again. So let's jump back into this border crisis. Let's see. Go ahead and pull up another video by AOC.
Secondly, let's talk about the climate crisis, because the U.S. has disproportionately contributed to the total amount of emissions that is causing a planetary climate crisis right now. But who is bearing the brunt of that? Disproportionately, it's actually not us. We help create the problem, but disproportionately, it's the global south.
Okay, so first of all, what does the climate crisis that we supposedly have to do with the border crisis? Because people are coming into or trying to come into this country illegally. That is what is causing climate change? No. Okay, so let me state my opinion on climate change. Might upset people, might not, don't care. To me, climate change is it's another scare tactic used by these politicians. We're going to make you fearful. We're going to fill your head full of this BS knowledge that, oh, this is happening and that is happening. Oh, the polar bears are dying. Oh, the oceans are rising. There's hotter summers, or there's colder winters, or there's warmer winters, or there's colder. It's just nonstop BS. My opinion on climate change is climate has been changing for billions of years. There was a core test that was done in Antarctica years ago, drilling down, and the results that they showed, that was 25 billion years ago, the Earth was 2 degrees warmer than it is today. Okay, so when they make such a big stink about the the 1 degree temperature, oh no, this is devastating. Even a half a degree of a rise in temperature is just, oh no, it's traumatic. It's this, it's that. Look, people, we've been being bamboozled, whatever you want to call it, for a long time now. You have these politicians that are going to feed the frenzy, feed the fire of doing what they have to do to get the votes, get what they want. There's a movie out there, and I request this movie to a lot of people. It's a funny movie, The Distinguished Gentleman, with Eddie Murphy. Long story short, he becomes a politician, and you really just need to go watch the movie, because it's a comedy, but it really opens your eyes to how politics, how Congress, how the Senate, how it all works. The lobbyists, the buying out, and everything else. That's our world, people, and we elect these officials. But going back to AOC, you're talking about how our emissions and this and that. The United States had cleaner burning fuel. Not really cleaner burning fuel, but what's the word I'm looking for? Their emissions were way down in record numbers during the Trump administration. So Trump was really pushing for, good environment for the people. Also, capitalism, money, getting people working, bringing jobs back. I mean, Joe Biden, his first week, signs an executive order killing the Keystone Pipeline. I don't know about you guys, but since January, I've gone from paying $1.89 a gallon to now $3.20 a gallon. I mean, it has gone up exponentially. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, bringing climate into what we're dealing with, the border crisis, we'll get onto climate change in another segment, but this one we're going to go back to AOC just spouting stuff off about climate change when we're talking about the border crisis. So this is like what I said before with her. She goes on these rants, and her everything is just all over the place, and most of it it doesn't make sense. If you're talking about a topic, stick with the topic. Don't go off on a tangent about everything else and then trying to link it to that same topic. I mean, she's a piece of work. All right, so let's go ahead and play some clips. This is what's really going on at the border. And the Biden administration put a halt on reporters going to see everything that's going on. And I'm not going to quote his words, but from what I heard was him stating he doesn't want reporters filming the news on what's going on at the border until he gets it taken care of. So you're wanting people to close their eyes, just turn their back while all of this chaos is going on until you get a handle on things. You don't want the people knowing. That's not going to fly, especially with Patriots. We want to know what's going on. You can't keep it from people. It's not right. People need to know. So, with that being said, let's check out the next videos. All right, so I wouldn't really call it cages. I mean, there's a lot of wordplay that I've noticed in the media, politics, and everything else, where you're using certain words to get a certain rise out of certain people. So using the term cages is going to get people enraged. Now, this is not cages. What if you think in your mind of a cage, like a dog cage or something like that? It's not cages. It, to me, looks like cells. Like, I don't want to say prison cells, but I mean, it's close. It's containment quarters, if you so will. You have these glass containers or glassed off rooms that you see these migrants in that are wrapped up in aluminum foil blankets. You can tell there's maximum capacity in these rooms where these people are being housed. And on top of that, you have the pandemic that's going on. So far, don't quote me on the numbers, but there's trying to remember the numbers I had read. A little over 200 cases so far, and that could be off a little bit. But anyway, you have these migrants that are coming in where, let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I'm sorry. 1,100 cases so far of immigrants that are coming in that have been tested positive for COVID. So you have all these patients or these migrants that are in these rooms that are in close quarters that are spreading contamination. It's not a healthy situation for them. You can see they're all closed in. And now the other video that was up is, I don't know if it's the children's mother, if this is coyotes, if this is just child traffickers, or what it is. But it's two children, ages 3 and 5, I think, that were just dropped 14 feet. I mean, these children could have broken their legs, they could have died, whatever the case may be. It's that's tragic. Why are people not seeing this, going, oh my God, okay, we need to do something? But do it in a positive way. Do something that is effective. The system is broken. I mean, if you want to come into the country, but do it the legal way, go through the process, get vetted, stay your time back in your country until you can get through the system. And as far as the system needs to get taken and revamped so that way it helps everybody. We have U.S. citizens that don't get the same healthcare treatment or educational treatment or any government assistance that these immigrants are getting. And I think that's why a lot of people are furious, because they see these migrants that are coming in, most illegal, getting government aid, getting government housing, getting government food, funding, education, healthcare, just an abundance of stuff. And people are getting furious. They see what's going on, and they're wondering, where's mine? You know, we're struggling, we're doing this, we're doing that, but you're helping people that aren't even legal U.S. citizens yet. I mean, and I know I made a mistake earlier. I went back and looked at it. It was $600 billion is what Joe Biden is proposing to house illegal immigrants, these migrants. How is that okay? I mean, we have homeless people that are dying on the streets every day. We have U.S. veterans that served this country, that went and fought overseas for this country, that are dying in the streets every single day because they're not getting the assistance that they need. And I mean, I know I hear people all the time, oh, healthcare for all is so wonderful. Healthcare for all, it's everybody needs it. If you ever want to look at a government-run health facility, look at the VA. Just look at the VA. See how these guys are doing. You know, it's not a pretty picture. So it's just frustrating, you know, to see all of this that's going on, and it's in the news every day, but not in the news every day. I mean, you got certain networks that play it, and then you have other networks that are just going on, whatever case may be. So let's go ahead and pull up another clip. I think we have Joe Biden speaking, basically telling the migrants, you know, don't come, stop. You know, maybe he's realizing that he fucked up pretty big.
Yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come. And what we're in the process of getting set up, don't leave your town or city or community.
See, there you go, people. Joe Biden said it himself. Don't come. And I think he's just trying to cover his ass from the mistakes he's made of just telling people, hey, you know, come here and, you know, I'll wipe you clean. You can become a legal citizen. I'll grant amnesty to, what was it, like 11 million, 12 million people, probably up more by now. But anyway, with that being said, you know, it's my opinion is, if you want to come into this country, come enjoy the rights that we have. You know, we have rights that were fought for by brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles. You know, millions of people have fought for this country, for the rights that we have. And I understand that America is great. You know, you have all the rights and freedoms, and people want that. And they want to be able to succeed. They want to be able to provide for their kids' futures, for their futures, to be, to live the American dream. People want that. But go through the process, and until the process is fixed to make the entry process more easily accessible, a lot easier to get through. They get a lot of good people out there that want to come into the country that are being put through the ringer and everything else, but they still go through the process. They got people that have done it for years, and they're upset. And I'm not really speaking for them, but from the people I've talked to that are here legally, they're upset. And the analogy I like explaining to people is, say you're at Walmart, standing in line, big screen TV, you're the next one to get it, but some guy walks by and grabs the TV, and you're like, hey, I was here first, and they're like, oh, well, nothing we can do about it. And guess what? That was the last TV on the shelf. So now you're screwed. Why? Because they just let them on in. They didn't care. They didn't vet. They didn't check anything out. You've been waiting in line all that time. Now you got to wait even longer. So it's just a messed up situation. You got people that have been waiting for years to get into this country and finally go through the system and get into the United States. And you have these other people that are just jumping the border left and right to try and get a taste of the American pie. And, Americans are fed up with it. Patriots are fed up with it. And you should be upset with it too, for the simple fact that, we want to live in a safe society. We want to live in safe neighborhoods. How can you do that when you're just allowing people in? I mean, hell, you go and buy a house, you go rent a house. First thing they do is a background check. They want to make sure you are who you say you are, and you're not gonna kill anybody or rob anybody or whatever the case may be. So we have systems set in place. It's a safety thing. So let's see. I think we're going to play another clip here, and that's going to probably end the show. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and play one with... you know what? Let's play two or three more clips. I'll put them all back to back, and then we'll discuss them and end the show. All right. Here we go.
It's not like someone sits around somewhere in Guatemala and says, I got a great idea, let's sell everything we have, give the money to a coyote, have them take our kids or us to the border of America, take us across, leave us in the desert, we don't speak the language. Won't that be fun?
Dignity to the people. Please give dignity to the people.
So you work for the commissioner, your senior advisor. You were hired 2 weeks ago, and you're instructed to ask us to not have any pictures taken here.
Please respect the people,
because the political
rules.
leadership at DHS does not want the American people to know it.
Please respect the rules,
You keep
sir.
standing in front of the pictures, so
Please
you don't want the
respect the
pictures
rules.
taken. The rules are arbitrary, and
Please
they're
respect
designed
the
to
rules
keep
and
the
give
American
the
people in the dark.
dignity and respect. That's all we ask.
Well,
Dignity
no, it's
and
not.
respect.
You're asking, is this
Please-
dignity and respect? Look at
Please
these people.
give
There's
dignity
a
and
pandemic.
respect to the people.
Let me
I
ask you, there's a
I
pandemic.
respectfully ask you, sir.
There is a pandemic.
With full-hearted,
Is this respecting the rights of these
full-heartedly,
kids?
I ask you. Please
Are you
respect
respecting the
people.
rights of these
This
kids?
is not a zoo, sir. Please don't treat the people.
You're right, and this is a
As such.
dangerous place.
Please don't treat the
And
people
your
like
policies,
this. That's all I ask for
unfortunately,
you,
are
sir.
trying to hide them. I understand
That's
you
all
were
I ask
instructed
you.
when 18
I
senators
ask you
came
to
down
please
here.
respect the people, give them dignity
I
and
respect them,
respect.
and I want to fix this situation.
We all want
and
to fix
the
it, sir. We
administration
don't
you're
want
working
this to
for is
happen
responsible for these conditions. So it was a crisis in 2019, and President Trump tried very hard to solve it. He tried to work with Congress. He tried to work in a bipartisan manner. A number of us here were working very closely with President Trump to solve it. There was a court decision called the Flores decision that was mandating the release of children and family units, which was in turn serving as a magnet for bringing more and more children, putting them in harm's way, causing them to be abused, sexually abused and physically abused by human traffickers. And President Trump tried to work with Congress to fix it, and congressional Democrats had zero interest in fixing it. They said they would not work to do anything. And I'll tell you what turned it around in 2019 is the president negotiated a deal, the Remain in Mexico policy, with the government of Mexico. It was a landmark deal. that provided that when people came illegally from Central America through Mexico and they applied for asylum in the United States, that they would remain in Mexico while the matter was proceeding. And that caused the numbers to drop, and drop dramatically. Last year, we had the lowest level of illegal immigration in 45 years.
All right, so we got Biden kind of making fun of a situation. Oh, people in Guatemala, yeah, they're just thinking, hey, let's just trek across the desert. And, you know, some people think that way. When they're promised, hey, you come here, we'll give you the freedoms of the United States. Just come on, I'll let you on in. Doors wide open. When you do stuff like that, people are going to throw morals and virtue and ethics and everything out the window. They're going to put their own lives at stake to have a piece of that pie. So making fun of a situation, it's messed up. You're making a joke of a crisis that's going on. Another video that we played was the confrontation between Ted Cruz. Now, I feel sorry for this lady. I do, because she's doing her job. She's doing what she was told. It's unfortunate that she is, in my opinion, turning her back on the issues at hand. The people need to see what's going on. The people had to hear bullshit for the last 4 years of Russian collusion, the stuff with Syria, just the fake news that has been out and after Donald Trump for the last 4 years, and the man is still being thrown into the news. I'm sure he loves the attention, but y'all didn't want him in there, but y'all are still. It's like y'all can't live without Trump. Oh, precious Trump, y'all can't live without him. Y'all gonna keep throwing him in the limelight. To me, in my opinion, he was a great president. He did what he said he was going to do. He pushed a lot of executive orders that helped the American people. Anyway, but I'm getting off topic. So the video is between Ted Cruz and this lady who he's trying to show the American people what's going on. And you can hear it in her voice whenever he says, I want to fix this. You see her almost break down for that second of her realizing that this is messed up. This is not right what they're putting these people through. My heart goes out to these people. I mean, granted, they're trying to come across the border illegally and get into this country, but it's a rough situation. That's what I said. It's such a hot topic and a sensitive topic because there's so many different emotions from so many different people on the topic. And the last video is basically just Ted Cruz once again just demolishing the press on when they're pressing him about, well, what about the border crisis with your administration? What was this? What was that? And he just tore them a new one. So with all of that being said, I still need to fine tune the videos before I can put this episode out for you guys. Hope you really enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow, hit the notification bell so that way whenever new videos come out, you will be notified and you can keep up with everything that's going on. Listening to my opinions, my bitches, my gripes, complaints, my rants, and my raves. So until next time, my fellow patriots, always remember, stay wise, stay safe, and stay true. God bless, patriots.